Welcome back, everyone, to episode 49, one away from 50 on CO Sports Talk. Thank you guys so much for the support. Our last video got 1,000 views, making our second video to get 1,000 views, which is really cool for us. So we are
Back.
11 subs from 100, so keep hitting that subscribe button. And today we are going to recap Super Wildcard Weekend as all the games have been played for the 2 through 7 seeds in each conference. And we will recap the national championship a bit as that was played since our last recording in college football, touching a little bit on the NBA, and a little surprise appearance from the NHL as a Sharks player makes history today. So yeah, all that's coming up on CS Sports Talk.
A great week last week, 1,063 views. I mean, it's our second most. It could be a record soon. So we're just really appreciative. We got a lot of new people watching the channel that we've never seen commenting. So shout out to all of you guys. Love new people. Alcohol Free, Vlone World, Olympian Zeus, Ron Smith, and Terrell Dinkins. So shout out to all of you guys. We love just bonding over sports because it's such a great game. So yeah, and happy Martin Luther King Day too.
Yeah, exactly. Happy MLK Day to everyone celebrating such a great man's legacy. And as Casey mentioned, if you subscribe, we will shout you out in the next video. So either if you have the public subscriber feature on, or if you subscribe, comment down below, you'll get a shout out in the next video. So there's some incentive for you. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
All right, we start off recapping NFL Super Wildcard Weekend. And before we start, is adding the 7 seed necessary? Because both 7-2 games are pretty much blowouts, and honestly, a lot of games this weekend were blowouts.
Yeah, it wasn't the best from a competitive stance. It wasn't the best football weekend, but it's playoff football, so it's still entertaining no matter what. But yeah, you bring up a good point. Like I saw on TikTok about how 7 seeds, since being added to the playoffs, are 0-4 against 2 seeds. So it kind of brings up a point, like, do they really need to be in the playoffs? Because they're obviously not creating a challenge. But at the same time, it's more football, so I'm not really complaining.
Yeah, I'll take it. More football, the better. But yeah, first game, Bengals Raiders. It was just nice to see some new teams in the playoffs. Some new colors in the playoffs. But Cincinnati won this game, and it was a solid game for Joe Burrow. And Derek Carr lost. Close game at the end. Got a pick. But what were your thoughts on this game? As the Bengals advance and they'll play the Titans?
I mean, I'm super happy for the Bengals. It's been a long time coming for the fans. But waiting 31 years for a playoff win, that's just crazy. So good job for the Bengals. And it was actually a really fun game to watch. I thought the Raiders were going to tie it up at the end, but then the interception happened. But it was one of the best games this weekend. I would say the second most entertaining, or maybe most entertaining. I'm not sure. Depends how you feel about the Niners Cowboys, but it was the second closest game, at least.
Yeah, definitely. The final score is 26-19. Mixon wasn't amazing, but hey, it was good enough. But man, Jamar Chase is just such a good receiver, and what a great pick that was just by the Bengals. And self-admittedly, I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, maybe trying to be a little hot take machine, I guess, and said it was a bad pick. We both were just like, get some line, but it turns out that was the right pick for sure. Jamar Chase is an unreal receiver, great player. So
yeah, roll the clip of Casey saying Jamar Chase will be trash.
T. Higgins had a great year last year. Jamar Chase is a bust. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a big fan of Jamar Chase, but I think they're gonna make the playoffs. This Bengals team's on.
And for more clips like that, go check out our TikTok. I'll link it in the description, but our TikTok, we post some funny clips from the show, so go check that out. And the second game, my Patriots got blown out by the Bills, 47-17. Just one of the worst Patriots games I've ever watched. Embarrassment, I would say. The defense, I've never seen a Bill Belichick-led defense play that bad. Bill Belichick's a defensive-minded coach. He usually has good defenses. And our defense this year was good, but in this game was awful. Led up 8 touchdowns on 8 drives. That's just inexcusable, especially in a playoff game. But I see too much slander on Mac Jones, so I thought played a fine game.
Yeah.
24 for 38, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did have 2 interceptions, but one of them was a spectacular play by Micah Hyde. Another one was a tipped ball. So I'm not too mad about that. So I really thought Mac Jones had a spectacular rookie season, only rookie in the playoffs this year. Gonna runner up for rookie of the year. So I thought a great year for Mac Jones and a pretty solid game. We couldn't establish a running game all game long. Our best rusher seemed like Mac Jones out there, honestly. Damon Harris couldn't get anything going. So they obviously changed stuff from that Monday night game in Buffalo a few weeks back. Kendrick Bourne played a great game. But again, this defense was awful. JC Jackson didn't look good, which is rare. And then
Yeah.
on the Bills side, I mean, Josh Allen was spectacular. 5 touchdowns, only 4 incompletions, 308 yards.
Unreal.
Isaiah McKenzie proves to still be a Pats killer, off that 11 catch performance a few weeks ago. He comes back with 3 rushes and 3 catches. And yeah, I mean, this Bills team was just phenomenal, and they really look like a threat in the AFC now. I don't know who can beat them. So I like your pick for them going to the Super Bowl, because that team is really good, and I underestimated them, and I admit my defeat there.
Yeah, I mean, I was just gonna say, like, on that first drive, obviously the Bills scored, but if the Patriots maybe get Micah Hyde doesn't make that unreal interception. I mean, it was a great read by Mac Jones. It was a solid ball. It was just one of the best picks I've seen in a long time. User lurk by Micah Hyde. If maybe you guys catch that, it's a different game. But ultimately, the defense really couldn't stop them. The Bills were unreal. Josh Allen was great. I think Dawson Knox made a point to be on our top 10 tight end list that will be coming this
I
offseason.
was thinking about that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and Singletary was really good as well.
Yeah. Singletary's small guy, but he fights for those yards, man. It seemed like every time he got the ball, it was a gain of 6 or a gain of 8. And that was just moving the chains, and this defense just couldn't do anything. And so if I'm the Patriots in the offseason, it's got to be corner, receiver, and linebacker. I mean, Dante Hightower's getting old. He's not playing at the same level. Juwan Bentley's pretty good, but you need another guy in there who's, a keystone middle linebacker for years to come, and also a run stopper, because Christian Barmore looks really, really, really good. But there's no one really else besides him. I mean, Lawrence Guy is really old. And then off the edge, there's no one that can really stop the run. I mean, Dedrick Wise is a primary pass rusher. Chase Winovich doesn't seem to see the field.
Yeah, what
So,
happened?
yeah, this team is just this defense is really frustrating, because after being the best defense all year long until like week 14, they just completely fell off. So I'm not sure what happened, but it needs to be a focal point in the draft, in secondary, because of aging players and pending free agents like JC Jackson, who could be seeking big money elsewhere. And then linebacker and interior defensive lineman who can stop the run, because this run defense is atrocious.
Definitely need a true wide receiver one, though. I mean,
Yeah, and definitely need a true wide receiver one. Jacoby said he would like to stay, which is good, because I think he's a great receiver. Bourne's obviously good, and Aguilar's decent, but a guy who can really stand out, talking about a Jameson Williams, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, someone like that who can really step in and be that, number 3 to begin the year and maybe work his way up to the number 1. So that's
yeah,
what I'm doing if I'm the Patriots. And if you're the Bills, man, you look really good right now, and ride this hot streak and hopefully win your first Super Bowl. So
yeah. It's rookie season for Mac Jones, so I mean, making to the playoffs in your rookie year is good enough. So, I mean, if you're blaming him, you got to understand football a bit more there. But yeah, next game, Eagles Buccaneers. And speaking of not blaming someone, I'm personally don't blame Jalen Hurts. I mean, obviously he didn't have his best game through 2 picks, but I really do like Jalen Hurts as a player, and I don't think I do think that he can be your franchise QB in Philadelphia. But speaking of the Buccaneers, they looked amazing again, even without some good offensive linemen. Brady just shines, and got Keyshawn Vaughn involved, Mike Evans, and this Buccaneers team's cruising.
yeah, the Buccaneers look really good. I knew this game wasn't gonna be close. I mean, it was close, ended up being closer than it should have been. It was 31-0 at one point. But yeah, Tom Brady, even without some star players on that offense, continues to be Tom Brady. So that's a team to watch out for. I mean, this NFC looks really, really strong, along with the AFC. But this is gonna be I don't even know who's. It seems like a 50-50 toss for a lot of these games. I mean, Bucs Rams is gonna be a really good game, I think.
My Niners, they beat the Cowboys. First upset we saw, only upset we saw. Niners defeat the Cowboys in Dallas. Probably the best game, I would say. Just first of all, an amazing color combo. I mean, you see some of these photos. What a color combo! The red versus the Dallas white is beautiful. America's game. But
Facts.
Niners got off to a wonderful start. Just running that West Coast offense to perfection of Garoppolo. Mitchell was getting the run game going. And then Debo and Ayuk obviously had great games. And the defense played amazing. Then Bosa and Warner got hurt. It was looking bad, but we stayed in it. Continued to score points. Had a huge pick by K'Wan Williams, who redeemed himself after getting burned by Amari Cooper. Debo scored, and I think we were up 23-7. And then the Cowboys had a little comeback. And the ending, man, I mean, I know I'm biased, but you can't blame the refs 100% because first of all, a ton of penalties went against. I mean, the spotting, the Niners almost had a first down there. He was a little bit short, but I mean, you could easily spot it. They spotted that short so they would have a 4th and 1. Then we get a false start penalty there, so it's 4th and 6. You have to punt the ball away, and then Dak knows you have to give the ball to the ref. That's the rule, so you can't blame the refs on that. It just don't run a QB sneak it when you don't have any timeouts.
Yeah, that's just a terrible play call by Mike McCarthy. And I don't know if Kellen Moore had anything to
Yeah.
do with that. I mean, if he did, then maybe his head coaching availability goes down. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting ending. There was confusion. Like, I understand that the ref has to touch the ball, and I think it's a fair ruling. I mean, they recognized that nothing was wrong with it when they took a look. So Cowboys fans cannot complain about that. But it did just seem like a bit of a controversial ending to a game that they could have won in the end there.
Yeah.
But
It would have been fun if there was 1 second.
Cowboys, yeah, it's the Cowboys' fault for not managing their time very well and calling a run play with no timeouts and 14 seconds left. So things could have gone better officiating wise that game completely. And especially at the end there with the controversial ending, but in the end, the Dallas Cowboys lost the game and not the refs. So, but your argument is that the Niners were the one getting screwed most of the game. So there's not much argument there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but ultimately the Niners DBs shocked me the most. They really impressed me because after that Tennessee game, I was pretty disappointed in them, and I was like, we're not winning a playoff game. We can't guard any top 15 receivers, and I mean we shut down CD pretty well. Amari had 1 TD, but I think Ambry Thomas has improved so much throughout this last 4 games. Josh Norman's he's obviously been there for a while, but he's a good veteran. And I mean, the defense and the secondary has improved a lot. So, I mean, it will be tough shutting down Adams. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to. Hopefully we can still win. No Bosa, no Warner right now, but hopefully they recover. But
I think Warner's going to be back.
I think Warner is good. We'll see about Bosa. He has a concussion, I think.
Yeah.
But our punter had a concussion. He played, so we'll see. Oh, speaking of special teams, shout out Robbie Gould, man. What a great player that guy is. 3 for 3, and I don't think he's ever missed a field goal in the playoffs. So the Bears shouldn't have cut him.
Facts, dude. Also, shout out Gray Nabel, big Bears fan, was watching on Instagram today.
Yeah,
everyone send their prayers to Gray Nabel.
Facts.
And then the next game was Steelers Chiefs. Everyone knew this was gonna be a blowout, but it was just people watch. I didn't even watch this game, to be honest with you. It's because I just didn't think it would be worth my time. So, but it was Ben's last game, most likely, unless he somehow says, "No, I'm gonna return for another year," but probably his last game. And the Steelers were doubled up by the Chiefs, 42-21. I mean, not much to say about this game. Chiefs were the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes threw for 404 yards and 5 tutties. Jerick McKinnon was their leading rusher today. I mean, not today, but yesterday. And which was a bit surprising. Shout out Jet. And yeah, just Kansas City dominated. Shout out TJ Watt, though, got a couple recovery.
Yeah, for a moment they were like, all right, are the Steelers going to win this? And then they came back down to earth. But their defense is good, at least. I felt bad for that D because they were given so much. And then just, Big Ben isn't there anymore. But good career. He's been in the league as long as I remember watching football. So, yeah. And Najee Harris didn't have his best game either.
Yeah, exactly. They should have. Is Dwayne Haskins still there? Yeah, no, he was their second leading receiver and was their leading rusher, so kind of random. I forgot he was in there. To be honest,
that guy get on the Chiefs, but number one as a running back.
Niners legend.
You can when you're wearing number one as a running back, you look like a pass catching running back.
Facts.
Like that guy's not pass blocking well, but he'll get some good receptions and help you in PPR fantasy for sure.
True. It's very true.
I remember he tore his ACL twice in training camp. I felt bad for him, so that's good for him.
Yeah, the annual Jarek McKinnon ACL tear is coming soon.
Oh yeah, yeah. But yeah, shout out Jarek. Good for him, man. Because I know actually now that one of my good friends, Johnny, he's been on the show, tore his ACL. That is a brutal recovery. So doing that twice must be brutal mentally and physically. So.
Right. That is tough. So all love Jarek. And then the last game was the Rams Cardinals. I expected this game to be a little bit closer, but it ended 34-11. And it's just really sad for the Cardinals. I mean, they look honestly like Super Bowl favorites 12 weeks into the season and then completely fell off, losing, counting this game, 5 of their last 6. Yeah, I mean, this was just a fall off for the Cardinals. I mean, what happened? Like, what do you think caused their complete skid? And also shout out and prayers to Buda Baker.
Yeah, true. I mean, I don't know. It's something with Kliff Kingsbury. I don't know. And like, it's just weird with this Cardinals team. We've seen this so many times now, 2 years in a row of Arizona, where they just like fall off. And 7-0 this year, ridiculous. Something of the hype. It's hard. I mean, I really can't tell you. It's not Kyler is your franchise QB. People blaming Kyler. Yeah, he had a bad game today, but I love Kyler. He's a great player.
Yeah, he's good.
Definitely keep him around. But that's no question. But Kliff, something's weird with him. I mean, at Texas Tech, he had the same issue. They never could get it, even when he had Mahomes as his QB. But yeah, that's weird. I mean, LA looked good. Shout out to me, went 6 for 6. Right now I'm perfect. So yeah. Still gonna root for Niners though, so hopefully my bracket gets busted. I was actually rooting for Arizona too because I like Kyler. But yeah. This LA team is they're really good against everyone but the Niners. I still think they're going to beat Tampa. I think they're a solid team. I mean, they're really good all the way around the ball in every position. They don't have that many weak links besides that O-line against that Niners pass rush. But yeah, so that Tampa versus LA game is going to be unreal. Yeah,
it's going to be a really good game. I still can't decide who I'm going to pick there. I didn't have that matchup in my bracket, but I had the Packers and Bucs in the NFC Championship. So I think I have the Bucs in the edge for now, but I think that could be a really good game. Like, do you think the Cardinals can even can you fire Kliff Kingsbury after going 11-6 and making the playoffs?
I mean, yeah, that's just a rare. It's gonna be a rare example of that. But I think you have to just after that ending. I mean, 2 years in a row. Well, I don't know. Do you give him another year? But I can totally see the same thing happening. It's hard. I think the Cardinals need a rebrand. I don't know. We're calling for a rebrand here. This is my perspective. Sometimes you just got to rebrand everything. Rebrand the stadium, whatever. But most importantly, rebrand the jerseys. Like something with it. We saw the Bengals do it last year. Look how that turned out. LA did it a few years ago after having those playing at the LA Coliseum. They rebranded it. Look at them now. Sometimes it just gets old. Honestly, your Patriots made it a little bit of a rebrand. Like I know you guys switched the jerseys a little bit.
That one, yeah.
I don't know. Just like switch them. They're a little too similar. But I think Arizona needs a rebrand. New York Giants in desperate need for a rebrand. Those jerseys are getting bland. I mean, come on now. But yeah.
Besides that one clean white jersey, the Giants need.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals jerseys are probably the worst in the NFL, in my opinion. Like they're so boring.
Just bland, yeah.
Like they're kind of like the USC of.
Yeah.
Like they're iconic, but they're also really boring.
Facts.
But yeah, I mean, that's it for Super Wildcard weekend recap. But we got some really good games to cover going forward, and catch us here next week for more recap.
Yep, 4 games next week: Tennessee and Cincinnati, Buffalo and Kansas City, Green Bay and San Francisco. Shout out Grady, my brother. He's going to be there in the -4-degree weather. And the last game, LA and Tampa. So it'll be good.
Not a single bad game in sight, man.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out Wildcard Weekend. Shout out our new people. And Yeah, I know some people are Packers fans that come to alcohol free a Packers fan. So yeah,
And Flown World.
yeah. So Packers are going against my team.
But
Ladies and gentlemen, the Natty just happened. College football is over. The Dogs have done it. The Georgia Bulldogs have won the championship. Alabama was dethroned. A great game. And, Stenson Bennett, man, he's just your epitome of a college SEC QB. He really reminds me. I mean, this whole Georgia team reminded me of that 2011 Alabama team, just an unreal defense, great run game, great coach, and just a mid-tier QB like AJ McCarron. That will be a household name. He could set up a bar in Athens and call it Stenson's and be known forever by everyone in Georgia. But yeah, shout out Georgia.
Yeah, shout out Georgia, man. They shocked me. I really thought Alabama was gonna win this game, but Stetson Bennett goes out there. The mailman delivers once again. He brings a championship back to Athens, first time in a long time, 41 years. So shout out to the Georgia Bulldogs, man. I mean, George Pickens played great.
Keely Rambo, whatever Rambo. Wait, Keely Rambo. He had the pick six.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. And then James Cook played well. N'Kobe Dean's a baller.
Nolan
Kendrick's a baller. Yeah. I mean, and obviously Jordan Davis, dude. Oh, and Jordan Davis, I have an interesting landing spot for when our mock draft comes out.
Ooh.
Probably in like 3 months though. But yeah, so it was a great game. And shout out to Uga, the Bulldog, and the Georgia Bulldogs, man.
I love college football, man. Best traditions out of any sport for sure. And it's good for a new team to win.
I still
Georgia.
think this was a bit of a mid-tier year though.
Yeah, I mean, postseason for sure. Everything was a blowout. But yeah, it was a mid-tier year for sure, talent-wise. Like Heisman-wise, we haven't
Yeah, this is probably the worst Heisman race I've ever seen.
Seen some good games though this year. I mean, that's what it's about. I think next year shaping up to be an unreal year. Like we can talk about transfer portal, but right now the West Coast is looking to be back. I mean, it's unreal what's going on right now. It's assuming Williams goes to USC. We're gonna have a USC UCLA matchup of DTR, who's gonna be in his 5th year next year, starting again, which I love DTR. I'm very high on him. I think he'd be the first overall pick in 2023 versus Caleb Williams. I love DTR, man. That would be an unreal matchup. And then up north in the Pac-12 at Oregon, we have Bo Nix starting. I mean, and then Stenson Bennett may transfer to Cal. So we have 4 unreal QBs playing. I mean, 3 of them from the SEC playing in the Pac-12. The West Coast is back for sure, man. And Jaden Daniels, don't forget him. He's a really good QB over in Arizona State.
Tanner McKee stays.
Dude, yeah. All right. But yeah, the Pac-12 is back.
We're so ready out of all those guys.
And there's Dylan Gabriel, I think, was going to win the Heisman at OU next year. But there's talks right now of literally a trade going on. Literally just Caleb Williams going to USC and Jackson Dart may go to Oklahoma. So it's like a swap. But the thing is, imagine Dart transferred. Imagine Williams doesn't even go to USC. So USC just gets ultimately screwed because
Dart already officially transferred to. I thought he went to either Utah or BYU.
No, it's between Ole Miss and Oklahoma.
Oh, he changed it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Dang. He should go to
Ole Miss. We already have Dylan Gabriel. Yeah, but it's wild. The transfer portal is honestly crazy. I don't know what to say about it, but it's like a whole free agency.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like players approach schooling strictly from a football standpoint, which I mean, I guess is cool because I mean that's what they're planning to do the rest of their lives. But
yeah, I
mean, yeah, it's just an interesting way of going about it. But yeah, college football is shaping out to be really good next year. I mean, Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Jackson Smith, and Jigba. Keep your eye out for the Heisman.
I think next Bryce Young,
Ohio State guys could be nominated for Heisman.
I think next year's college football season may be the best one ever because there's so much talent that's staying back. Like almost every QB that was good this year is still there because this is such a weak QB draft class. As you just said, Stroud, Bryce Young. I mean, DJ had a bad year, but he's still there. Caleb Williams is still there. Bo Nix, DTR, all those veterans are still there. I mean, and Spencer Rattler is going to be starting. I mean, it's going to be an unreal year. So I'm super excited. Get excited. College football is my favorite sport of any sport in the world. So yeah.
Yeah, and also, I mean, I've
Tyler,
already talked about Ohio State a lot, but I think Ohio State is a like I think they're gonna be fully back this year. I think
yeah,
they're really good. I mean, Travion Henderson, really good running back. CJ Stroud, Jackson
I think
Smith.
Notre Dame beats them week 1, but yeah,
Oh, they played
Tyler
week
Buck,
one. That's good.
Tyler Buckner to Charlie Sala is just gonna be an unreal,
Right.
match. So
Oh,
yeah.
Charlie Selman.
All right, boys. Let's talk some NHL.
Facts. All right. Time for a little bit of NHL. Yes, you heard that right. NHL and CO Sports Talk hasn't. I don't think we've talked about it since our Stanley Cup predictions last year, but it is making an appearance again. Because San Jose's own Timo Meier scored 5 goals in 2 periods, which is first of all a Sharks record for most goals in a game. Period. He did it in 2 periods, and the first time that's ever happened, fifth time that's ever happened in the last 50 years. So pretty rare feat. And shout out to Timo Meier. He's gonna be an all-star this year, hopefully. But I mean, Sharks look pretty good. They're a little bit above 500, and they beat a pretty good Kings team by a big margin today, 6-2. So, I mean, a lot of talk about the Florida Panthers. They look really unstoppable, but hey, check out for this Sharks team when it becomes playoff time.
Facts, man. I really don't follow the NHL too much
Yeah.
till like May, but yeah, man. Good for the Sharks. I hope they win because I like the Sharks, and they're really not doing too well though. But they're about 500, so hopefully they get it together. They're chasing the Ducks right now, but yeah, the Seattle Kraken are really struggling, and they're a new team, so that's
They're an expansion team. Actually, the last expansion team we saw in the Vegas Golden Knights were like immediately good. So let's talk a little NBA before we wrap this thing up. So let's talk a little NBA. Our favorite team, the Warriors, is kind of faltering now. They're 4-6 in the last 10. Have now fallen 3 games behind the Suns for number one in the Western Conference. So the Suns look to, I mean, I wouldn't say running away with the number one seed, but it's pretty in their control at the moment. And the Grizzlies are on the Warriors' tail as they had an 11-game winning streak, but they're 9-1 in the last 10 and 31-15 overall to the Warriors 31-12. So they've lost three more games than the Warriors, but they've won the same amount, making them 1.5 games behind the Warriors. So, I mean, do you think the Grizzlies are going to pass the Warriors soon the way they've been playing? Or?
I do, unfortunately. Yeah, even though I'm a Warriors fan, I think that this Grizzlies team is really good, and I personally think that Ja Morant is the best player, or the most exciting player in the NBA right now. I mean, that 360 layup he had is super, like that was unreal. And obviously he was a better pick over Zion, is looking like, as the Pelicans are 16-28. But and he
Zion still hasn't played.
And he has injury issues, obviously. Yeah. But yeah, I think the Warriors are not going to catch up with Suns, and I think Memphis is ultimately getting the 2, the double up 3, because the Grizzlies kind of own us. I mean, they beat us in that 9-8 play-in game last year, which is really frustrating. And then
they're
this year
against us this year.
They've had the upper hand like every time this year. We've had some good matchups with the Grizzlies over the years. I remember like 2016 playing them when they had Conley of Mike and Randolph of Zach and like Gasol. But we had the upper hand.
Tony Allen, bro.
Yeah. It seems like it would always go 6 games and we would win back then. But right now they have the upper hand on us. But the Warriors just need some dogs, man. I mean, I feel like we are struggling defending. Sometimes we're shooting really well, and sometimes we can't shoot
so many
at all.
injury problems, dude. Every game, it's a new guy goes out for 2 weeks. We just got word that Draymond Green is out an additional 2 weeks because the left calf tightness has to do with something in his spine. So that has to be reevaluated. Steph doesn't want to re-hurt that same hand that he was out for like the whole season a few years in the COVID season. So he's out with left hand soreness or whatever, right hand. I don't know.
What's going on with Moses Moody, man? I was really looking forward to him.
He's in the G League. He's got some minutes, but he hasn't looked great in them. Kaminga is looking spectacular though.
I really thought Moses Moody was gonna be the guy, but
I agree. I thought Moses Moody was gonna be way better off the jump, and Kaminga will be better years down the line, but proven to be the opposite right now.
Kaminga's only averaging 6 points, man. I don't know about spectacular,
but when he gets minutes, he plays really well in them. He just doesn't get that many minutes. Like he had 25 the other night in Chicago on 85% shooting.
Why is our lottery pick player not getting minutes?
Well, he will now, but Kerr's playing more Draymond and Otto Porter Jr. and Toscano Anderson, but Kuminga's better than Toscano Anderson right now, so I think it's just
Also, the Dubs have Chris Chiozza, Florida legend. He
Florida
once hit
legend. He's
a
the
buzzer beater against Wisconsin. I'll always
worst
remember
player on
that.
the worst player on the Warriors by far.
Hey man, all I remember about Chris Chiozza is that buzzer beater hit against Wisconsin in a 2017-18 March Madness. He threw his floater. It was a 3-pointer, and he floated in the air and hit a buzzer beater against Wisconsin at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, I remember it was like a floater runner off 1 foot.
In Sweet
That was
16.
really
Yeah.
nice.
I mean, if we can roll a clip of this.
Possession, he just closed. Chiozza.
Chris Chiozza, Florida legend. But yeah, and Wiseman dude needs to toughen up, man.
He'll come back somewhere in February. There was a report that came out that he got like a secret surgery that happened in December around Christmas time that they didn't release to the public. And so that delayed his time a little more than initial thought. So he's had 2 surgeries on this knee so far. So that's
Man,
proving to be once to be like, oh, this is a pretty minor injury to being like, okay, this is pretty substantial. So we'll see. Dubs just need to get healthy. That's the number one thing. And
Klay
they'll be
Thompson.
fine. But Clay is, I believe, 1-4 in the games he's been back so far. So
yeah. All right. We'll be fine now. But yeah, shout out the Warriors. Shout out everyone, man. Just honestly, just love everyone for watching the videos, because at the end of the day, sports are just such a great place. We all bond over it. We're all toxic in the moment, but we all come together through sports, everyone. So thanks for watching our show, because that means you love sports yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, facts. Subscribe, and we will see you guys next week. Peace out.